Hello everyone, welcome to a new build guide video. In this video I'll be showcasing the Huntress build. It's mainly Twister. I gave it a little lightning twist just to make it a little bit different. I can talk about it all day and I will. So let's just get right into the build. So it's a Twister build. I don't know why Twister works that well. I think something is a little bit bugged. If you don't know, Twister shoots out one or multiple Twisters depending on if you do other abilities. And the duration isn't that long, but it is supposed to hit no more than once every 0.66 seconds. But if you do multiple Twisters, which I'll explain later, you'll be able to get a lot of them, which is kind of weird. So I'm not sure if this is a bug, but it's been there, it's still working. We just had a hotfix, I think like 1 day ago or like 24 hours ago. So it's still working, it works fine, it's great for early game. You have it from level 1, I think. So it works great. Why does it work great? Well, if you use whirling slash 3 times, then it will actually cause the twisters to do multiple times. So it will actually get, how many do we get? 1 additional twister per whirlwind. So if you have 3 of them, you'll get 4 twisters. Now, this is already 4 twisters, but it will get even crazier. Because you can do something like Barrage to get even more of the twisters, because it will repeat 2 times and get additional if you even have frenzy charges. So it's a crazy combo and it will just create a lot of twisters. Twisters themselves are a bit erratic, they can just go everywhere, but yeah, they do a lot of damage and it's quite worth it. It works, and it works a lot better than the other stuff I've tried. Tried some other stuff, but this one works very well. So enough talking about how the core things of the build works. I'm just going to go over what kind of support gems I use and how I try to make it lightning, because that's a bit of a twist. Anyway, Twister, so lightning infusion, that's for the actual lightning damage. This actually allows it to either shock or just proc some other stuff that uses lightning. It just adds a little bit of flavor in there. I would say ice might be better, or like frozen if you go that way, just for pure DPS and also like CC. I think frozen is better because it's also easier to create ground, frozen ground, than it is to create shocked ground. There's only like 2 or 3 things that make shock ground in the entire game, which is sadly very little. Or there's like 1 intelligence or like high level sorcerer spell. Anyway, lightning infusion, acceleration, persistence, and for whirling slash, more attack speed, more shot tempo, and I have rage. Rage is quite nice because you're going to be doing 3 of these anyway. If you hit enemies, you'll get 9 rage, which is just a little bit more of that attack damage. Stormlance. Stormlance is quite nice because it can create shock ground. If you actually have frenzy charged, it will create shock ground for 6 seconds. So you will use, if you get a froze or like a frenzy stack, then you can use that for your little shock grounds, and then all of your twisters will be elemental. And you really want it to be elemental because they will gain 50% of that corresponding type extra as damage. So that's a lot of extra damage on each of your whirlwinds. So elemental twisters are very nice, and also your whirling slash will also take that element if it's whirling in that thing, and then twister will finish them all off. I'll include some clips at the beginning and the end, so you get a kind of a feel of how this will work. And then we also have Thunderous Leap. Oh wait, of course, Perpetual Charge and Electrocute for supporting gems. Thunderous Leap is a very nice skill because you can just travel, and that's always nice. But also because it can also create shock rounds. This is also why for the Ascendancy I took the crit one first. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but basically this can, if it crits, it will create a shock round, which is nice because then your twisters will be lightning as well. And it will just do a lot of extra damage. And Fist of War, this is a little bit boosted, but so it will become, I think, 30% or 20% more area of effect, which is always nice for the shock round. They'll just give you a little bit more leeway in doing all of that stuff. So Barrage really makes this thing crazy. So if you have 3 stacks of your whirlwind slash, then do Barrage and then do a twister, it will actually cause so many. I think you will get 4 twisters normally, but because you're doing that, you will get like it will cast it repeated 2 times plus an additional paraphrase, so it will get 12 of them. It looks pretty fun. It is quite nice as well, and it's just all these twisters going everywhere. And in the beginning, it's a little bit difficult, a little bit clunky for me at least, but you know, I'm getting better and better and getting weaving this into. But sometimes I just forget. That's why I also have it, I think. Yeah, right here. Oh, no. Sorry. I'm new to this camera thing. So right about here, I have it twice. That's in my hotbar. This is because I keep forgetting it. And also Sniper's Mark is another thing I forget, because they will get you frenzy charges if you crit an enemy. This is also why crit is really nice, and also why you take it in your ascendancy. If you crit an enemy, you will get a frenzy mark. Once you mark them and you crit them, you'll receive extra damage and also that frenzy mark. Also profusion just to get a little bit extra. And of course for the frenzy mark you will use that on your Stormlands to gain more shocked rounds. And it kind of works in tandem like that. And this is great because you don't need to parry anything to get the frenzy charges. But I will show you in a bit what you do for the earlier levels when you don't have Sniper's Mark yet. Also, I've included a build guide in the description that has most of the things I'm talking about just written down. So if you want that, it's right there. Combat Frenzy, I'm not too sure. I don't have anything that does electrocution right now anyway. But I think you can make this work by adding electrocute in something as like a support gem. I think I have it actually in Stormlands right now. Because the shock rounds, I don't really care too much about the shock from the shock rounds. I just want all of the tornadoes to do like lightning damage. But I don't know, because shocked is quite nice, and I also have some shock magnitude in there, which is like a 35% damage multiplier, which is quite a bit. So not having that on Stormlands seems a little bit weird, but I don't know where else to fit it in. So I'm still looking if Combat Frenzy is handy at all, but it is nice just to get extra frenzy stacks. Herald of Thunder, just more lightning. It's a very simple thing. Concentrated effect and Innervate, just for more lightning damage. If it kills something, it is very nice with the Innervate buff. Innervate could be like something else as well, but I'm still playing around with Innervate a little bit. I used to have it on Twister itself, and that was quite nice as well, because once you get this rolling, everything will just do a little bit more lightning damage, even though it's not really looking like lightning. Sadly, the lightning tornadoes are only if you actually do it in the shock ground. So that's a bit of a different thing. And of course, Tame Beast. Always have one of these laying around, because you can get some insane rare beasts as like a sidekick. Things with haste can really increase your damage with like 20%, 30%. And there's like few auras that like that the rare beasts have that actually can buff you as well. So if they're close by, they'll buff you. And they only have like 20 or 40% or like something. Or this is the thing where I'm really thinking like, okay, this could be crazy. If a tame beast, they can also create the shocked grounds whenever they walk, or elemental grounds anyway. If you have a beast that can constantly create shocked grounds when they walk, then you don't need any of this like Stormland stuff anymore. You could just only do twisters, and they will always will be in the shocked grounds because you're near the enemy or near the rare monster. So that could be a really cool combo, but it really has a chance. You need to get one, catch it with your Pokeball, kill it, and then get it. It's a whole bunch of things. You can't guarantee it, but I do want to try that one out. So a little bit in the alternatives or things that I changed around. One of the things, so Companion, you could change around instead of Combat Frenzy. I didn't have Combat Frenzy in the beginning. I just had the Quadrilla. I had a pretty cool Quadrilla that had like, I think he had like some frozen stuff. Yeah, and all damage ignites. Not really too useful for by other things, so no synergy, but it's just cool having a Quadrilla going around being your Pokemon. I think it's great. Then also for the other things that I tried out a little bit, Primal Strikes I tried out. I want to try this out again because it looks really cool, especially with like all the spirits coming out of it. Basically what this does, if you have an enemy that's shocked and you hit him, a spirit will come out. The second hit will do it again, and then the third hit, like a whole row of spirits will come out, and each dealing quite a bit of damage. I mean, each of the spirits deals like 100% physical damage, which is not too bad. But it's just a little bit slow and a little bit clunky. I think if I have a good, like, not frozen, oh god, shocked applier, then I can actually get this working. But I'm not too sure about this right now. So it's still a little bit of a work in progress. But that's for Primal Strikes. I'll get that later. Same with the Lightning Spear. At the beginning, Lightning Spear is great. I would actually use it, especially because when you don't have Stormlands yet, it is a great way to use your frenzy stacks. Once you parry, disengage, and then use your frenzy stacks. So at the beginning, I would say getting your buckler and disengage is great, because that's also the only way you get frenzy stacks. And then you can throw a insane spear. But I do want to kind of try out the Lightning Spear and Primal Strikes, but I haven't gotten it to work yet. I tried some stuff out, but it didn't work yet. And once you do get the other way of getting frenzy stacks, which is Sniper's Mark, I would say getting your buckler away is a bit of a thing. You need to see if your survivability is up there. I have quite a bit of evasion, 54%, which is lower than I guessed. I think something changed. Anyway, I had about 60%, so I think that's pretty decent. And my survivability is like, well, that works. I deal enough damage not to die all the time, so it's fine. But if you want more survivability, of course, do get that shield. But also for the passive tree, a little bit for the ascendancy, of course, I would say critical strike is one of the best ones. Also because you have two things that scale with critical strike, the shock round and the other thing. And critical strikes are just great, and you will get it with more accuracy. Accuracy is pretty easy stat to get, so that will immediately increase your damage. And then for the second part, I would say either penetrate, which is even more physical damage for your accuracy, or go predatory instinct for just more damage for the weakness. Those things, it depends. If you have a lot of accuracy, I would say penetrate is great. If you don't, predatory instinct is just a multiplicative bonus. I tried that element of infusion, but it was a little bit of a bummer, I would say. It wasn't that fun or not like that noticeable. So the damage didn't really do that much at all. But maybe if I get something really lightning going on, instead of like more of a wind tornado and a little bit of lightning, then I actually try out element of infusion again. Because it does sound pretty cool, but it's just not working for now. And for kills also really good, just for the extra damage. But I would say get these two, then this one, and then there. And this one is a little bit depending on how much accuracy you have. Or for the fourth ascendancy, you can get that one. A little bit for these defensive ascendancies, you could say something. But I would say this works for most of the stuff. Anyway. At the beginning, I just went full damage, went all the way here. And I was like, okay, maybe I want some evasion here as well. A little bit of extra... little bit of extra strike range and chance to fork. I'm not sure if this actually really works that much, but you know, I was like trying stuff out. It's fine anyway. Again, more accuracy rating, attack speed, both things you really want. Attack speed is really nice. Get anywhere you can. Movement speed, also great. Evasion rating, both nice. For 2 nodes, it's very good. Attack damage is great. I spec'd into everything here, but I'm not too sure about the shock duration. For now, I don't have too many shock appliers, so a duration is quite nice, but I'm not too sure about this. I could put in some points somewhere else and maybe there, but I'm quite broke right now, so I can't really respec anyway. This one is the Dance with Death. This is why I don't have a buckler right now. Just have 25% more speed is very nice, especially if you take things that increase your speed. If you don't know, by the way, skill speed or like more is a multiplicative. That's how I remember it. More means multiplicative. And increased means additive. That's just how I remember it. Additive is always worse than multiplicative, or most of the cases is worse than multiplicative. So you want that multiplicative. So this is really good, just for the thing that you only have one-handed martial weapons and no longer a defensive shield. So you do miss like 30% block chance, which is noticeable. If you die a lot, don't take this. Just take it a little bit easier and take it a little bit more defensive. And then this, I would just get everything here. Also get more attack speed for accuracy rating if you have a lot of accuracy rating. And I think I would slowly go up here. There's quite a few good nodes up here as well. And I'll probably make my way here and just discover some stuff up here. Probably this one. A lot of people I've seen take this one as well. This one's pretty good too. So I would probably branch out a little bit there. I think in my Mobilinix or whatever, on whichever platform, I put my build guide in the description. I added in some other stuff, or like how I would do it for the next 30 levels or something like that. I think that's it mainly. For the other things, I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, in the beginning, so you want Whirlwind / Twister, and you use Disengage with your parry to get the stacks for your Lightning Spear. And once you get Barrage, you can even do even more Twisters. Stormlance makes it so you have Frozen Ground, which is great for your Whirling Slash and Twisters. And then later on, Primal Strikes you don't really use. You want to go to your bow and then get the Sniper's Mark. You can get that because you have Dexterity. And then, where's Spirit? Yeah. And then Thunderous Leap, you also want that. And I haven't tried out any of these four yet. Anything else for your weapon? Of course, physical damage is what you want really. Anything for lightning damage and fire damage. Add in also with your gloves or with your rings. Really good. You want that resistance on your rings as well. Boots, just movement speed. You don't need these. Just any movement speed will do. And evasion on all of the other pieces of your armor and gear. I think that's about it. How many minutes? 16 minutes. I think that's good. I don't know if I missed something, but we'll see next time. I'll have some gameplay at the beginning and at the end of the video, just so you guys have a little bit of how and what and how the build looks. Thank you guys for watching. It's new for me doing this with the camera and all, so please don't mind me too much. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.
Sensed it too, did you? The spirit is near. There, after the spirit. No time to tarry. That's the one. Put it down.